Yeah, I love that. Okay, so let's shift gears here. I thought it'd be fun to kind of go through, let's go through 10,000 foot level, some tax planning opportunities and ideas and concepts that somebody might experience throughout their life, right? Because I love the
Yeah.
title to and through retirement, right?
Yes.
So let's start in the accumulation phase. Somebody's in their 30s and 40s. Um, at this time in somebody's life, you got children, you're buying a house. So you're going to have some college savings considerations, maybe some health savings accounts. And I think the big one is, that age-old question, and it's so simple, right? But should I be putting my retirement funds in Roth or traditional, right? And that's a really hard one, especially I think the further you're out from retirement. Now, if you're a high earner, right, there's rules, generally you're going to lean towards that tax deduction now. But there is a lot of variables there. And then to piggyback on that before I turn it over, sometimes you hear it's good to have a good mix of different taxable accounts, right? So your brokerage accounts, your pre-tax, your traditional assets, and some Roth, for the sole reason of options later, right? So there's kind of that sentiment that you hear often too. So what are your thoughts there on the accumulation phase, your 30s and 40s?
Yeah. So a few thoughts there, and we have multiple chapters in the book about this, but I want
Sure.
to unpack a few things. First of all, I liked how you started that question. This person now has children to worry about, and they've got a house to worry about. This
Mhm.
person, even if they're crushing it, and yeah, there's going to be a handful of them. They're both in tech. The company went to the moon. Okay, they're just crushing it. They're fine. But even if they're doing really well, their financial future is not secure. So it's that time in their life, vis-a-vis other times in their life, is not a great time to park what I call tax risk.
Mhm.
That is not a great time to be paying a lot of taxes because one, that person, they got kids at home. That's an
Mhm.
important consideration. Two, they may be in their highest earning years depending on their career.
Right.
So, if you're paying more taxes, you found a way to pay more tax when you pay more tax. That's not
Mhm.
so great.
Right.
So let's come to traditional versus Roth. I say let's do both, but
Mhm.
we got to be intentional about that. So when I say let's do both, I say let's optimize for known trade offs.
Mhm.
And how do we do that? Let's take a look at our workplace 401k. If
Mhm.
we're under 50 years old, in the year 2025, the max is 23,500, and it can be in most plans traditional and or Roth, a
Mhm.
combination thereof. Um, every dollar we put into the Roth 401k is a sacrifice tax deduction at our highest marginal rate. That's an interesting trade-off profile. We'll come
Mhm.
back to that. What about at home? Okay. At home, that same person almost certainly cannot deduct a traditional IRA contribution. So if they decide to do the Roth IRA contribution, either through an annual regular contribution or a tactic referred to as the backdoor Roth, either one of them, they have not sacrificed a tax deduction for the Roth money at home.
Mhm.
Most likely, they didn't qualify to deduct a contribution to a traditional IRA, just how the rules work in today's environment. So I say, why not focus on getting the highest value tax deduction we may have in our entire lives,
Mhm.
or certainly close to it, deduct into the traditional 401k, while at home we take the contribution into the Roth IRA, either through a regular annual contribution or a backdoor Roth. We've optimized for the trade-off profile. We didn't contribute to a Roth 401k when it sacrificed a tax deduction, but we did contribute to a Roth IRA when it didn't sacrifice a
Mhm.
tax deduction. And then I'll just put in a little plug for the taxable account, which some people don't like, but
Mhm.
I tend to actually favor them. They tend to be a very good first spend asset in retirement. Qualified dividend tax rates are low today. So in the book, we call it the compelling three, essentially traditional 401k at work, Roth IRA at home, and then maybe some taxable brokerage accounts at home as well. That tends to be my favorite approach. Look, you got to do you, and there can be bells and whistles. There can be some.
The opinions and statements presented on this show are for general information only and are not intended to provide specific advice or recommendations. Never make any investment or financial decisions based on information offered on this show without first consulting your financial, legal, or tax advisor. All economic and performance information mentioned on the show is historical in nature and is not indicative of any future results. All indices mentioned on this show are unmanaged and cannot be invested in directly. All information is believed to be from reliable sources. However, we make no representation as to its completeness or accuracy. Lastly, all opinions expressed by Jason Cutitta and any guests on the show are solely their own opinions and do not reflect the opinions of or are endorsed by ToBA Financial. For Jason Cutitta, investment advisory services are offered through ToBA Financial LLC, a registered investment advisor offering advisory services in the state of Hawaii and in other jurisdictions where exempt from registration.